10 Best Star Trek The Original Series Episodes ranked Star Trek. The original series produced some incredible episodes throughout its 3-year run, making it difficult to narrow a best-of list down to 10. The Star Trek franchise has become a pop culture juggernaut, but it all began with the iconic adventures of Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner, Spock, Leonard Nimoy, and Dr. McCoy, DeForest Kelley. Gene Roddenberry depicted a utopian future where humanity's main goal had become exploration. While Roddenberry's vision may have been limited by the culture of the 1960s, Star Trek nevertheless presented a revolutionary and incredibly progressive view of the future. Star Trek, the original series, holds up well nearly 60 years after its premiere, thanks largely to the strength of its characters and stories. Characters like Chief Engineer Montgomery Scott, James Doohan, and Lt. Uhura Nichelle Nichols may not have gotten as much screen time as the main trio, but they became iconic in their own right. Star Trek has, of course, since become a massive franchise, with multiple universes and numerous films and television shows, but none of that would have been possible without Captain Kirk and his adventures aboard the USS Enterprise. When the Starship Enterprise visits the planet Sigma Iota 2, they find a society built around the culture of 1920s-era Chicago. As Kirk, Spock, and McCoy investigate the planet, they hilariously try to adapt to the local culture. Kirk and Spock don appropriate attire, speak with exaggerated gangster movie accents, and use language that the locals, including mob boss Bella Oxmix, Anthony Caruso, will understand. From Kirk's invented card game, Fizbin, to Spock's reticence to ride in a car with his captain, a piece of the action is one of Star Trek's funniest hours. Spock's witty humor and Leonard Nimoy's always perfect delivery work particularly well here, and he and Kirk play off of one another perfectly. Not only does the episode address the importance of Starfleet's Prime Directive, but it also demonstrates Star Trek's ability to switch seamlessly between genres. It didn't take long after Star Trek, the original series, premiered for Leonard Nimoy's Spock to become one of the show's most popular characters. As the show progressed, more and more episodes began to focus on Spock, and the Galileo 7 offers some fascinating insight into everyone's favorite Vulcan. When Spock leads a science team to investigate a quasar-like formation, the mission goes from bad to worse. Aboard the shuttlecraft Galileo, Spock is forced to make an emergency landing on the foggy planet Taurus 2. Before long, native ape-like creatures attack, killing 2 Enterprise crew members on Spock's watch. As Spock faces impossible decisions and insubordinate officers, he begins to realize that logic does not provide all the answers. The Galileo 7 is a great vehicle for Spock as a character and tells an incredibly compelling story. Besides, when the Enterprise answers the distress call of the USS Constellation, they find the commander, Commodore Matt Decker William Wyndham, to be the only survivor. Understandably distraught, Decker describes the massive planet-eating machine that killed his entire crew. Decker then takes command of the Enterprise and engages the machine, before ultimately sacrificing himself by flying a shuttle into the planet killer. Since its debut in 1966, Star Trek, the original series, TOS, has held a special place in the hearts of science fiction fans. With its bold storytelling, imaginative plots, and iconic characters, the show broke new ground, tackling social, political, and philosophical issues while pushing the boundaries of what television could be. Here's a look at the 10 best episodes of Star Trek, the original series, ranked for their creativity, cultural impact, and lasting legacy. 10. The Devil in the Dark, Season 1, Episode 26. The Devil in the Dark presents one of the most classic themes in science fiction, humans facing an unknown and potentially deadly creature. The Enterprise crew is called to a mining colony where miners are being killed by a mysterious creature. At first, it seems like a simple case of a monster hunt, but the episode turns expectations on their head when the creature is revealed to be the Horta, a sentient silicon-based life form protecting its eggs. Instead of an antagonist, the Horta becomes a tragic figure, misunderstood and only seeking to ensure the survival of its species. The episode serves as a metaphor for human fear of the unknown and teaches a valuable lesson in empathy. 9. Balance of Terror, Season 1, Episode 14. This thrilling episode pits the Enterprise against a cloaked Romulan vessel, introducing the Romulans as formidable adversaries. Balance of Terror plays out as a cat-and-mouse game between Captain Kirk and the Romulan commander, showcasing the tension of submarine warfare but in space. This episode stands out for its deft handling of tactical combat, the introduction of a strong new villain race, and its reflections on the futility of war. The Romulan commander is portrayed not as a stereotypical villain, but as a noble adversary, adding a depth rarely seen in TV antagonists of the time. 8. Amok Time, Season 2, Episode 1. Amok Time is best known for its insight into Vulcan culture and Spock's background. The episode follows Spock as he undergoes Ponfar, a biological drive to return to Vulcan and mate. What begins as a simple character-focused story soon escalates into a dramatic life-or-death duel between Spock and Kirk. Amok Time delves deeply into Spock's inner conflict between his human and Vulcan halves, offering an unforgettable emotional exploration of his character. It's also the first time we hear the now iconic Star Trek fight music. 7. The Doomsday Machine, Season 2, Episode 6. In this episode, the crew of the Enterprise encounters a massive, planet-destroying machine of unknown origin. The Doomsday Machine is a thrilling action-packed episode that highlights the destructive potential of unchecked technology. Commodore Decker, who takes command of the Enterprise in a fit of vengeance, provides a tragic figure of obsession, contrasting with Kirk's level-headed leadership. This episode has some of the most intense space battle sequences of TOS, coupled with a dramatic score that heightens the tension. 6. The Trouble with Tribbles, Season 2, Episode 15. A beloved fan favorite, The Trouble with Tribbles takes a break from the usual high-stakes dramatic storylines to offer a lighthearted comedic episode. The plot centers around adorable yet rapidly multiplying Tribbles, whose overwhelming numbers cause chaos aboard the Enterprise. Their furry cuteness hides the fact that they consume vast quantities of food, putting the ship's food supply at risk. This episode is a delightful mix of humor, charm, and character interaction, showing that Star Trek could excel at comedy as well as drama. 5. Journey to Babel, Season 2, Episode 10. Star Trek fans were introduced to Spock's parents, Sarek and Amanda, in Journey to Babel. The episode combines personal drama with political intrigue as the Enterprise is tasked with transporting alien diplomats, including Spock's estranged father, to a peace conference. The tension between Spock and his father takes center stage, offering poignant moments as Spock is torn between duty and family. Journey to Babel is a rich episode that explores themes of loyalty, family, and diplomacy, while also adding depth to Spock's character. 4. Mirror Mirror, Season 2, Episode 4. The original series ventured into alternate realities with the classic Mirror Mirror, which transported Kirk, Uhura, McCoy, and Scotty into a parallel universe where the crew of the Enterprise are ruthless and authoritarian. This episode's alternate versions of the characters, such as Spock with a goatee, became iconic in pop culture. The exploration of how one's environment shapes morality and behavior was a bold move, and the evil universe concept has since become a recurring trope in science fiction. 3. Space Seed, Season 1, Episode 22. Star Trek fans will always remember Space Seed for introducing Khan Noonien Singh, one of the greatest villains in the franchise's history. The Enterprise discovers Khan, a genetically engineered superhuman from Earth's past, who quickly proves to be a charismatic and dangerous adversary. The clash between Kirk and Khan is electrifying, and Khan's superiority complex sets the stage for his return in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Space Seed remains a seminal episode for its powerful performance by Ricardo Montalban and its exploration of the